now with a possible network deal, top 20 network station, would you be open to, and listen, I got to ask it because people are going to tell me, how could you not ask Billy about this? You're a Chicago guy. There's another Chicago guy that may be available. How would that impact you if you had, an interest in CM Punk, or would you be interested in having him in the NWA? How would that change things?
We must be doing well, because when the dirt sheets start writing the headline, should the NWA, now that they have a network deal, sign CM Punk, we must be doing something right. So I love and respect the question, because it feels good to even be asked the question. Let's start here real quick on Punk. I first met Punk, I think, when he was 19 years old, wrestling at the Nashville Fairgrounds for TNA. I can't say we're tight, but we've always gotten along very well, and we have a lot of mutual friends, and there's always been a warmth there between us, particularly as fellow Chicagoans. Unlike a lot of people in professional wrestling, and maybe because I know the person a little bit, I feel I understand the path that he's taken in professional wrestling. As a fan, I wish that he had never retired. I wished he had always stayed wrestling, and I wish he was wrestling right now, because he's a super talented guy. And like a lot of stars, there's only one CM Punk. There's only one guy who brings that level of heat in that way, and he's that guy. He knows it. The fans know it. And certainly as a wrestling promoter, I know it. And as a fan, I know it. And I was there the night he won the title in Chicago with the famous banner, if Punk loses, we riot. And Punk was nice enough that night to give me a front row ticket up there in the front row with his friends and family. Great night. Historic and memorable night. I'm talking about WWE, of course. So to your question, many, many people behind the scenes have asked me, should we make a play for Punk? Have you reached out to Punk? And the answer is, in terms of reaching out, no. Because I respect him a lot. He deserves top money. He's a top star. So that sounds almost self-defeating, like you're almost admitting that you wouldn't want him. No, trust me. The NWA would go hand over fist to have Phil walk through the door and be part of the NWA, even for a pay-per-view. But let me say this. What I would say to Phil, and I'm not trying to use this as an open forum, I'm saying to you what I would say to Phil if he and I were talking. And again, I have not reached out, and I certainly know how to get in touch with him. What I could say to him is he would have a lot of fun in the NWA. And I think Phil, the person, loves professional wrestling. He's had his public confrontation or whatever. I don't know what the word would be. He's had his own... I don't even know how to quantify it. Because I'm very similar. You know what I mean?
No, I understand.
I got sued by a record company once for $150 million.
Yeah.
I eventually made a deal with them and continued working for them. I've had massive battles behind the scenes with every segment of the record and touring business, some of which are not public. Let's just say I have a reputation in rock and roll behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So if Phil, the person, has a rep with whoever, well, he doesn't have that rep with me because I feel I do understand where he's coming from. The Pipe Bomb promo, which is one of the great all-time promos in the history of the business, could only have come from one man. And the reason it resonated is it came from his heart. That man loves professional wrestling. He may not love the professional wrestling business, but he loves professional wrestling. Mm-hmm. So my only appeal to Punk would be, if you want to have some fun, I can't pay you what you're worth, but if you want to have some fun, come have some fun in the NWA. We'll kick some ass, we'll have some laughs, and I'll buy you a vegan sandwich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a point where, and I'm going to say this in a self-serving way. everybody knows, whether they like it or not, I'm a rock star. I've been a rock star for over 30 years. There are moments in my life as a rock star where I played Madison Square Garden, rolled it out. I mean, I've done it. There's no argument on that stuff. But there are times when you've been there and done that, like Phil has, where you need to kind of go back to ground and say, how did I get here? Where this thing that I love doesn't feel like the thing I love. Or it's gotten so twisted and turned around, and somehow I'm the bad guy on something I don't feel I'm the bad guy on. And I'm not trying to get in the middle of what happened. I wasn't there. But I do understand the man's heart, I feel. And again, I'm not his friend because I wouldn't claim to be his friend, because that's just not cool to do. But I would like to see him, whether it's with the NWA or any other promotion, that he recaptures, to quote the Shawn Michaels, recaptures his smile, right? Yeah. He deserves that. The business should rally around guys like Punk, because the business benefits from the stars. When Shawn Michaels came back to WWE, and of course now he works behind the scenes, think of all the good things that happened after that. Punk belongs in this business. He's a star. He needs to be treated like a star. I don't think anybody deserves to be treated like a prima donna, including myself. But there's got to be a way to balance those forces where the guy who loves professional wrestling can do what he loves to do, even if it's behind the scenes. Maybe he doesn't even work in front of the camera for a while. I learned a lot about professional wrestling by working behind the scenes in TNA. It rekindled my love of professional wrestling in a way that was closer to why I loved it as a kid than, say, just booking or something, or running a promotion. I hope that kind of answers your question, because it's an important question that goes way beyond my interest.
If you enjoyed these videos, hit the subscribe button and follow us everywhere podcasts are available.